SharePoint 2010, Search First. I'm Mark Stone, the Technical Product Manager for Enterprise Search at Microsoft. And I'm going to introduce this session and just talk a little bit about the business value. And then I'm going to introduce Natalya and Harry, who are going to go into some detail around what Search First actually is. So SharePoint migration over the years, we've been through many, many upgrades. And over the course of those upgrades, we've learnt quite a few things. Some of them can be a bit painful. I'm sure no one in this room would think that. But sometimes you can't upgrade everything all at once. It's just the reality of how our organizations are put together. And nothing changes the fact that our users see the latest and greatest and want it. And we have to provide that to them. So how do we do that? So Search First was a way of rethinking that upgrade a little bit and taking a little bit of a different approach. We provide our customers a go-at-your-own-pace type of approach, trying to remove the deployment barriers, how we can lower the cost of entry. Really, the idea is, how can we provide them the latest version of SharePoint 2010? How can we do it now? And the way that we have put together this program is by doing it Search First, by literally bringing the search engine over first and going from there. So to introduce Search First, I suppose it's pretty good just to talk about what is Search First. It's a process and a set of tools that allows you to essentially have both your 2007 environment running as well as having search sitting in 2010. So it allows you to bring over the benefits of many of the search components from 2010 and still have that 2007 environment back there. It's important to understand the history around Search First. Search First was something that was supported and created in conjunction with both Microsoft, Arcovis, and Metalogix. So all three of us have been involved in making this, which is why Arcovis is going to take some time today really to tell you out in the field how it actually works, how they go about deploying Search First, and all of those things. But one important fact is that Search First is something that we've made available for everyone. There isn't a fee or cost around it, but there are SIs and folks who have a lot of experience going with this approach, such as Arcovis, who are available also. And at the end of the session, they'll provide you with some information that you can use where you can download the Search First tools and the documentation, all those kinds of things. So I'm going to hand it over to Harry and Natalya now. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Can everybody hear me? Yeah? Okay, cool. So first of all, I'm very excited to be here. I hope that everybody's had a good time so far. It's like very early in the week. We've been wrapped up in this so much that I haven't actually been able to kind of look, get my head above and actually see what's going on. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to talk about the Search First initiative. As Mark said, we worked with Microsoft and Metalogix to make this happen. I think it really fills a need that's out there. It's a great way to look at migration. So as Mark mentioned, my name's Harry Jones. I work with Arcovis with Natalya as well. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name. She will later, so look forward to that. So I just want to say the goal for this session is that, first of all, we want to give you a good overview on what the Search First solution actually is. Also give you a good idea of why it's valuable, so what types of organizations this will fit in and where it can bring high value. And then also to give you, just to show you how it adds flexibility to, again, to the approach to migration and upgrade. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Natalya here, and she's going to give you a visual intro into the Search First experience.
And also pronounce my last name. Hi, how are you? I'm really excited to be here. My name is Natalya Voskresenskaya. I'm SharePoint MVP, SharePoint Architect, and Enterprise Search Engineer with Arcovis, as Harry already mentioned. So the first thing that I would love to do right now is to kind of right away jump into the demo. Who is for that? Okay, let me switch. So that's one of my favorite demo environments. What you're looking at, let me give you an overview of what you're seeing right here. What you're looking at is 2007 portal with the Search Center. The only difference that it's pretty much out of the box setup, but the only difference that you're seeing here is that we have 2007 search box out of the box, just different title. And we also have the Search First Experience search box. So to better depict the picture of what really Search First looks like from the end user perspective, where they still continue working in their 2007 environment, but they are experiencing a full-blown set of features that Search 2010 provides to them seamlessly. So for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to be role-playing a little bit. As you can see, I'm logged in as Ann Wallace. Let me give you a little bit background as who Ann Wallace really is within the Contoso Gears Manufacturing Company. Ann Wallace is fairly new to the company. She's a marketing associate. And for today, her task is actually to provide input on Contoso's current marketing strategy, and she needs to produce a summary by 4 p.m. today. So to start off, and she knows that this documentation has been provided previously. So to start off on her journey, she goes to 2007 search portal, and she types in gear products, and she hits search. So again, this is out of the box. Unfortunately or fortunately, very familiar to you, a search results interface that is provided by 2007 Enterprise Search. So first thing that you will notice right away, that all the top results are coming from the product site collection. Just look at the URL. And within Contoso, the product site collection contains the product information as it pertains to technical specifications and some of the product development information, but it does not have any marketing material. The reason why those results came actually on top is because in 2007, the search relevance was influenced by, for example, in this case, by the query getting exact match in the title of either the site or the web page or the document that was brought back in the search results. And as much as we scroll down, you can see that none of this information is really relevant to Anne. So Anne did not find, in 2007 search, the document she needed. However, she remembers meeting a colleague of hers on the first day of work. His name is Tom. So she wants to try to find Tom in hopes that maybe Tom will help her and point in the right direction in order to find the information. So she goes into People Search. And as you can see in this demo, we're kind of exploring both sides of the search, People Search and the Content Search of 2007. And she types in Tom. She hits go, and the next page, again, fortunately or unfortunately, is going to be familiar to you. This is the out-of-the-box People Search page. And we have two people that matched Tom criteria, Tom query criteria. But right away you will see, if you look closer, that both of those people are coming from the IT department. None of them can be a colleague of Anne, because Anne is working in marketing. So in this case, Anne had really frustrating experience. And she did not find the document she's been looking for, the person she's been looking for, and pretty much she's been set back in her research. Let's go back to our research center and see how the story would have changed if Anne was using the Search First environment. So we're going to go back to our research and 2007 Search Center, and we'll start typing in gears. I was actually about to type in the same query, but first thing that you'll notice, you have query suggestions. Most of you know that this is feature of SharePoint 2010, but we are working, I'm just reminding you, we're still working in 2007. So, great. Search First experience are already showing some improvement, right? She's selecting gear products, exact same query that she executed in previous search, and we hit go. So query suggestions, one thing that I really like about it is that it really helps people to pre-formulate before they even execute or type in the full query in a search box, to pre-formulate the query by getting some insights into how others within the same organization, within the same portal, has been looking for similar type of information. So once my query gets executed and I guess you can all guess which environment I'm running in. It's VMware environment. I love our Hyper-V, but sometimes resources are not enough. So let me give you an overview of what you're looking at. Right now, as you can right away see, the search experience, the results page provides much richer end-user experience. It provides all the features that SharePoint 2010 Search has. And before I go back to my Ann Wallace's research story, I want to give you a little bit of an overview of what you're seeing here on this page. The first thing that you will notice on your left side of the screen, of the page, is called refiners. I bet a lot of you are already familiar with refiners, but for those of you who are not, refiners are actually metadata that's been indexed alongside with the content, with documents, pages, items, all the portal content. And right here, those metadata values are actually exposed to you as a refiner parameters that you can use to drill down into your search results in order to narrow down the search results based on the values within those metadata parameters. So let's take a look at the, for example, the author refiner. You see, if I was right now to click on Sanjay Jacob, all my search results would right away get refined and only show those search results that match Gear Products query and authored by Sanjay Jacob. So let's go back. And also another thing that Ann can do right now, and we're actually back to Ann's story right now. Another thing that Ann can do right here is actually on this page to sort her search results based on any type of metadata that's been configured as a sortable property for search results. So that's another thing. That's another type of rich interaction that you can do in 2010 Search, in Search First. First thing that you will notice also on the search results page is Gears marketing with the star. What it really is, it's a best bet. This is a best bet because within the Contosa, the Gears marketing library is being considered as more relevant for marketing people whose business role has anything to do with marketing. So this library, marketing library, is considered to be more relevant from within the context of Gear Products query. This is why this is kind of a featured search result, where by clicking on the URL, Ann can get directly to that resource library. Another thing, if you take a closer look, you remember the relevancy that we've been seeing in 2007, where search really did not care. As long as the query found a match, as long as we found a match in the title, it's more relevant. Is it product? Is it marketing? We don't care because we don't know who Ann is. In 2010, the search actually is aware of the user context. So right now, from within marketing user context of Ann Wallace, it recognized that if you look at all those top results, they're coming from the marketing site collection. It recognized that, for example, this Gear Products marketing research document is the most relevant to Ann right now. And guess what? It's absolutely right. This is the document that Ann's been looking for. So another thing is what you can notice right here. This is called a federated people search. And this search actually finds, sometimes it's called expert search because it uses people profile properties to find experts or to find subject matter experts within the specific areas or topics. And note, Sanjay Jacob is here as well. If you remember, Sanjay Jacob was in our author's refiner as author of specific information found in search results. But right now, Ann actually discovered something that she did not know before. So he is a subject matter expert in Gear Products who she can reach out to, while she was not even aware that he existed. So we found the document we've been looking for. Now let's go back to our search search-first experience and see what type of experience Anne would have and what type of search results she would get if she was looking for person Tom. You remember we were using 2007 People Search looking for Tom, and we did not find the person we were looking for. So let's go back and use our search first to search for exact same person, Tom. And again, you will notice that, voila, we have search results, but instead of having 2 results, we have 3. And let's see, the first 2 guys we got in the first in 2007, but we never found Thomas. And Anne was not aware that Tom's full name was Thomas. So here in 2007, the first 2 people were brought up as search results simply because search found the exact match in the name of the person. In 2010, that functionality has been enhanced. Besides just looking for exact match, it also looks for names variation. So the people search engine recognized that Tom is a short version of Thomas. That's called the nickname matching and name variations matching. But let me step back a little bit. One of my favorite features, and I'm going to show it to you. So as you can guess, my accent does not come from Brooklyn. I am really foreigner here, and English is definitely my second language. And everyone who is working with me, and I see Paul is smiling right there, knows that I have a huge tendency misspelling people name. So to me, Tommy is something like that, T-O-M-I. And let's see if Enterprise Search 2010, People Search 2010 would help me out. Yes, this feature is called phonetic name matching. So no matter how I spell Tommy, the search engines will really understand what I mean. I wish just Harry would learn it as well to understand sometimes. But so right now, she found the person she's been looking for, and right from the search results screen, Anne can see information about Tom. She can also see the recently authored documents by Tom right here once it's loaded. But another thing, and I think it's really cool, eye candy. So since Anne and since Thomas, now it's really hard to call him Tom since we know his full name. Since Thomas and Anne are colleagues, one thing that would help right now actually to know how they are, what they have in common. So by clicking on the browse in the organizational chart, Anne can go into Thomas's profile and actually have this interactive Silverlight preview of how they are related to each other based on the org chart, where we can page actually, and it's loading. If it doesn't load in the next minute, well, it will. It really wants to show off. So that's really cool Silverlight interactive control, where, for example, I can page through colleagues of Thomas's colleagues. I can also go to people who Thomas directly reports to, and voila, here is me, here is Ann Wallace. And I can see that myself and Thomas, we are peers because we report to the same, to the same manager. So you see how this search first experience was so much different. Not only I found the person I've been looking for, not only I found the document, which is more important that I've been looking for, I also discovered subject matter expert that I had no idea that existed. And the last thing, since I found Thomas from this window, I can actually IM to him, I can send him email messages, and I can instantly connect to him. So this is the drastic difference that search first brings into the life of your people that are still bound to 2007 environments. So, and just last thing in this demonstration, I'd like to show and highlight how Search First can drive a really rich, user-aware search experience. So remember Jacob Sanjay? I already have a window where I'm logged in into exact same search center in most 2007 as Jacob Sanjay. So let me tell you who Jacob Sanjay is. Jacob Sanjay is a product development person. He works in a product development department. And he is looking right now for gear products. But guess what? He's not interested at all in marketing material. His interest is in technical specifications. He's a technical person. So even though he does a search from the same 2007 environment, and he goes to exact same 2010 search results page, but take a look at this. Look how different his experience is. Right here, what you're seeing is called a visual best bet. Visual best bet is an interactive banner that is used to promote, in a similar nature as best bet, a specific content within the company from within the query, and in this case, from within a different user context. So for example, where it's used right now at Contosa. Right now at Contosa, there is a global initiative that is targeted towards product development people to educate them, to send them to training classes where they can better learn the new Gears product line. Another thing that you will see is, yes, Sanjay Jacob did search for gear products, and his name came up also. So my name, in this case, came up as in people matches. I want to see who else is an expert in our company on gear products. And if I scroll down on this page, I see all the people matching this criteria. But if you notice, the system recognized that one of the search results I'm looking at is myself. This is called self-search. Another thing that's why this is important is that because the search itself incentivizes me right here to update my profile by letting me know what type of queries were recently executed and that surfaced my profile. So if I notice some query, some keyword that really does not make sense within the context of my business role within the company, I can update my profile to make sure that people search is more accurate and my profile information is much more accurate and not misleading. So that would conclude the whole end user experience, but you can see what a drastic difference Search First really produced within the context of this short story of two people looking for information in 2007 versus 2010.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
So I'm going to switch this back over to the PowerPoint and get past the demo here. All right, so now that we've had a chance to kind of see what the Search First experience actually is, so what does this actually look like? So we got to see a user go into their MOS environment, very familiar environment. If this were something that were implemented in your organization, they have what looks like the same search box. They go to it, they start to type in a query, they start getting things like query completion, they start getting enhanced search results. From that perspective, as Natalya showed, a very, very different experience. A lot of different opportunity to interact with your information and connect with people in different ways that they couldn't do literally the day before. So I want to highlight a couple of valuable aspects of that. One is that the concept of Search First gives you the ability to kind of decouple your upgrade and migration from your complete 2010 rollout, so your deployment. So you may be an organization that's looking at deploying 2010, and that's something that's somewhere in the future. That could be 6 months away, a year away. But it gives you the ability to provide some experience to your users early so that now you don't actually have to wait for that year so you can give users a valuable experience now. So it's a way to kind of decouple those two things. The second thing is that not only does it do that, it actually focuses on something that's very strategic and is of very high value. Looking at, and that being specifically search, enterprise search. If you think about what we do every day, there are probably few things in terms of us interacting with a machine, whether it's our computers at home, whether it's our computers at work. There are few things that we do that are as important to us as search. They're so important that we expect to be able to go to a search box, type something in very, very quickly to get something back that we need very, very quickly. And when that doesn't happen, we're very, very frustrated. That's because we have that expectation. It's very, very important for us to get that information. So companies that have a vast amount of information, that have many departments, many people that work together, they may be disparate globally, all of these things, the more important search becomes. Enterprise search becomes a very, very important thing so that people can find that information that they need and start to glean information from that, from the data that's actually out there, regardless of where it sits. And not only that, from a effort perspective and what the return actually is, it's a relatively low effort, low risk effort to actually deploy this search services farm and actually get some information back. And the actual search first deployment is something that's actually a very small footprint. And all of that is possible, one, because of the 2010 platform. The services architecture allows us to kind of pull these little pieces out and say, let's start our deployment in using search. Let's put up a search farm, and let's use some of these tools that have been developed to start redirecting our queries and also to start giving us some of that rich actual UI, user experience that is that new search box replacement. So I want to return the floor back to Natalya because she's going to give us, now that we've seen what the experience is from an end user perspective, she's going to walk through what the big pieces are that kind of put this together so that we get an idea of the architecture and it becomes a little bit more clear as to how we actually implement this.
Great. Okay. So what you're looking at right now is something that probably everyone has who has 2007 MOS environment. So this is a typical scenario. MOS is handling content and MOS is handling search. So, and queries are getting sent as submitted to its own farm, and they're actually getting, the results are getting delivered by the same 2007. So what happens with search first? With search first, you stand up, you still maintain your, of course, 2007 farm, because this is your important place for people to collaborate, to author documents, to publish content. But you also, on the side, you stand up a 2010 search farm. And once you deploy the search first, all your queries from end users are still going initially to 2007, but 2007 environment redirects the queries to 2010. So 2010 handles all the queries and also search results. And it presents this improved search experience to your end users. And as you saw previously in the demo, the experience were fairly seamless. So this is a really high level of what happens on search first. Now, the next logical step on search first is, so once you're ready, once you deployed the search first, and your end users are already taking advantage of search functionality in 2010, so at this point, you are ready to begin a complete migration of your content from 2007 to 2010. The reason why it's called Search First is because it's seen as the first step into the migration or upgrade process from 2007 to 2010. So once Search First phase is over, you start deploying content. So what happens to your existing infrastructure? So you have new search farm, 2010 and you have Moss Farm, there are two scenarios that can happen. As what you're seeing here is, this is a dedicated search farm scenario. Once you are migrating your 2007 to 2010, so what happens is your existing Moss Farm gets replaced by built-out 2010 farms. But you can still maintain your original search farm and have it just publish the services, search services to your built-out 2010 content farm. In this case, all your web apps, all your site collections will be consuming the search from 2010. The next scenario is, for example, again, you have 2007 search first 2007 farm, you have a 2010 farm. And the second option is to simply expand your new 2010 search farm so that it becomes your primary 2010, where you can just expand search dedicated farm and migrate content from 2007 onto this farm. So thus, your search farm actually becomes your whole SharePoint 2010 platform. So let's take a look at, this is a high-level overview of what it really takes to implement search first. So the step one, of course, as in any project, in any type of implementation, it's going to be required to do certain planning and scoping in order to understand the effort and the type of infrastructure you have to put in place. And the step two is the build out, the really build out of your search farm 2010, as well as doing the actual implementation of redirecting your 2007 with implementing search first in 2007. And then step three, even though the majority of people that are used to using 2007 search, it might not seem like something really mandatory, search tuning, and I would agree with you, it's not. But at the same time, I would disagree with you. So once you perform your search first, in order to really provide this rich experience where your end users pass the first wow effect when they even get out of the box 2010 search instead of 2007, so you have to, it would be better if you would maintain a certain level of expectations for search engine improvements, because that will really show them the whole strength of 2010 and flexibility of search first. So, and step four, that's the easy one. Just decommission your old search in 2007 and get rid of those propagating forever indexes. Just forget about it. So let's go in more details over what each step really entails. So the scoping and planning step, again, I mentioned to you, so what steps are included in that? You really need to understand the performance and the capacity for your search first environment. By looking at the current indexed content and by looking at what you project the content growth is going to be within the next, I don't know, half a year. It depends on what type of planning you're doing. So you will understand what type of infrastructure you need to just replace the content volume. Then also take into consideration additional content sources. The 2010 search allows you to easily expand and tap into other line of business applications that you have. For example, with BCS, where you can easily index SQL and other your line of business applications. And this is just an example, but that all will really provide a measurable value for your search solution. Then also you need to take a look at what type of user distribution you have, because all of those things, SLAs, user distribution, they will feed into what type of topology and server topology you need to put in place in order to stand up your search first farm, 2010 search first farm. And then in certain cases, for example, if if the company that you are planning implement search first in is, I don't know, exceptionally large, or they think they're exceptionally large. And for example, if there is a really wide global distribution and there are certain complications, for example, like a bandwidth, etc., or if there are complex line of business integrations where your end users need to understand that, yes, it is possible to replicate that, for example, in 2010 search, in your search first environment. And of course, highly customized search center. So in those cases, the proof of concept might be in order, because you really need to take a look, and it will also help you to scope the overall implementation for your search first more accurately. So once you've done your homework, you are ready with your step number 2, which is, let's roll up our sleeves and get busy, put 2010 search dedicated farm in place, and we're going to be ready, right? No, not really. We need to migrate. Since the expectation from the end user will be that at least you will be taking in your search what already exists in 2007, you will need to migrate. For example, certain things like content sources. Because what are they going to be searching for if you do not even index the same content that 2007 is indexing, right? Crawl rules and global scopes. So all the major search settings, and I can tell you they're actually located under SSP in your 2007 environment. So all those major settings, you have to migrate into 2010. There are many ways of doing that. For example, one of the ways, I think it might be probably one of the easiest way, is to use search migration engine that's provided as a free download from Microsoft, or who really loves PowerShell, please be my guest. You can output all those settings through PowerShell and then migrate them back, migrate them into 2010. So once this is done, you already have your infrastructure in place. You have your search settings migrated. The next thing would be to enable people search, because you remember your end users are still living and breathing in 2007 environment. And this is where they're updating profile searches. And if they're updating their profile searches in most 2007, synchronizing 2010 with AD in order to enable people search can be kind of useless, because you're not going to get all this enhanced information. So there is, again, free download. Don't you like it? It's a free download. The free download is called User Profile Replication Engine. And this is part of SharePoint Admin Toolkit 2010 and 2007 as well. That's what you can use to just synchronize, initially do full synchronization of all your user profiles, user profile properties from 2007 to 2010, and then you can put it onto incremental load mode. So every night, for example, I don't know, it depends on your schedule, all the changes from 2007 get synchronized to 2010. So, and the next step is absolutely logical. Crawl and index the content. At this point, you will have your 2010 farm will be able to replace completely 2007 and even add some enhancements, because it will provide all the content searching that 2007 been providing, and also people search. It will enable people search because you have migrated user profiles. That's it. Well, the last thing that you'll need to do is to enable your end users to use that search first environment. And the way you will do it, there are two steps. The first one is mandatory, the second one optional. So Metalogics have developed the automated tools for you to deploy to apply search first in your environment. The one tool is called redirection, search first redirection engine, or search first redirection tool. What it does, once you run it, this is actually a mandatory step. Once you run it, your you're done, literally, with your search first migration in 2007 environment. Because at this point, all the end user queries will get redirected to 2010 Search Center. The other one, which is optional, you can also deploy Metalogic's developed search box replacement control. And that's the cool part where in 2007, this plain search, I'm getting query suggestions. Awesome. So that optional search box replacement control provides sophisticated scopes configuration where you can take scopes either just from 2010 or from 2007. And also it provides query suggestions. Again, do you have to deploy it? No. And decision to deploy it will really depend on how much of a footprint you want to leave in your 2007. Because the redirection tool, all it will do, it will change configuration settings. And let me show it to you what type of configuration settings it really changes. So are we ready to take a look at that? Let me switch to my demo machine. OK, so let's take a look at this redirection, this magic redirection tool. So in this demo, what I will do, I will actually apply search first redirection to this wonderful marketing site collection. I came up with this site collection, so I'm very proud of it. Don't laugh at it. So in order to show to you what really happens behind the scenes, at least from the high level, I'm going to go into site action, site settings. By the way, I'm logged in as administrator. So yes, you do need to have administrative rights in order to run search first. I'm going to site settings for my marketing site collection. And what you're seeing here in terms of search configuration is out-of-the-box search configuration for many site collections or sites that have been created from the team site template in 2007. All it tells is use default search page in 2007. So I'm loading right now PowerShell with Metalogic's commandlets for search first redirected that are being preloaded right now. I did prepare the command that will run the redirection, but do not be once I run the command, do not be alarmed. I will explain to you what those commands do in the next demo, because I'll take you through the full life cycle of applying search first redirection. So I'm pasting the command that I'm going to run, which is using Metalogic's search first redirection control. And once that command is over, we will go back into the marketing site collection and we will refresh the page so we can see all the changes that happened there. Yay, it's done. I'm refreshing the page. And right now, instead of 2007 search default page, what the Metalogic's tool directed my site collection to use is my search first 2010 environment. So it's literally redirecting the site collection to my new 2010 environment automatically, and specifically in cases when you have many site collections. It's very important. So let me go back to my marketing site. And I want to show to you what else has happened there. So not just the site settings has changed with this redirection tool, but the redirection tool recognized all the pages that are using search web parts, no matter if it's a people search web part or it's just a 2007 search box web part. So the Metalogic's tool actually also redirected. There are some settings in web part. Once you go, like, search box web part, you go edit web part, and you can say, what type of result page to use, what type of advanced search page to use. So it actually replaced all the values that were existing. It replaced with the new search first values. So now, whenever your end users are doing either people search from even those custom search boxes, they get redirected to 2010 people search. Whenever they do search for content from search web part boxes, they get to 2010 search results page. So, and this box is not, this box has been also redirected. So, and you see right here, I also have Metalogic's search box replacement control deployed. And you see, this scope actually is coming from 2010. Isn't it cool? And let me start searching for something. Yes, I do have query suggestions. So that is really, in a nutshell, what happens in 2007 environment once you do your search first redirection. I hope you feel a little bit more comfortable and don't feel like there is some voodoo magic is going on. Right, Harry? And I'll pass it back to Harry.
Thanks, Natalya. Let's see. All right. Give that little clicker. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is free for search first. That's the beauty of it.
Even SharePoint 2010 is free when you use it. No, not really. That was a joke. All right, so thank you, Natalya. So at this point, we've covered kind of the major moving parts that define the search first solution. So now, kind of with that as the backdrop, a lot of you, I would expect, are saying, well, that's pretty cool. How would I apply this? Is this something that my organization should be looking at? Where would this be ideal? Where can and can't it be deployed? Things like that. To help kind of answer that, there are a few scenarios that we put up here that are, one, that they were actually in mind when this was actually kind of conceived to begin with, and they're areas where this applies very well. So the first two, which are speak specifically to organizations, one with a mature, what we call a mature search implementation, and two, a large organization, that being an organization that has a large body of content or corpus in the search kind of parlance, and complex search needs typically. Both of those we're going to cover in a second. I'm actually going to come back to those to explain a little bit more what we mean there. And in fact, one of those actually feeds our last demo. Those are two areas that this solution specifically can speak well towards. The other ones should be fairly familiar. So where a complete upgrade, what I mean by full upgrade is a complete kind of monolithic upgrade. Your entire upgrade is not something that you're going to be doing in the immediate or near term. That could be because you don't have resources or budget to do it now, and that's something that you're planning for later. It could be because your migration and rollout is actually something that's very complex. Again, because maybe you're very large or you have very specialized needs within the company. Another, and we actually see this very frequently, especially again in enterprise organizations where their 2007 search environment, they do have a search environment. But it is very basic, and it's something that's very kind of overburdened. So as they start to extend and have more content, they start to want to roll in more content from other sources, it actually starts to kind of weigh down the resources that you actually have available to your 2007 environment. So this is an area where you can actually kind of alleviate that pain point fairly easily and fairly quickly. Or worse yet, either because it's so overburdened you've turned it off, or because you don't have a search strategy in the first place, organizations out there that don't have an enterprise search solution. And then last, what's kind of obvious is if you kind of have made that decision that your search is in your 2010 experience, if your search is going to be hosted within that 2010 experience, if you've already made that decision, you know that's part of your future strategy, then this is also a good reason to look at search first, because there's not really, certainly not a technology reason to wait for that to happen. Search first actually makes that possible. So I'm just going to, I told you I was going to revisit those first two. So the mature search implementation, to make that clear what that actually is. So these are organizations that might have highly configured search environments. They may have a lot of content sources, different systems actually pulling in information from. And from those systems within SharePoint, they've defined some specific metadata to find that content or custom managed properties specifically. These organizations typically have a good idea of what they want from search. They're organizations that have been using it. They've actually gotten, rolled their sleeves back and actually gotten their hands dirty in trying to build search applications or build a more rich search experience for their people. So this, typically they've kind of already exhibited a strong understanding and a strong need for an actual search-driven application as well. So Search First in those organizations can benefit those organizations a lot because one is, especially as you're pulling information from a lot of different systems, you have the ability in 2010 to start to make kind of connections and build kind of what we call a unified search experience where we're actually pulling in information from different systems, relating them together and actually producing a result that actually represents maybe a concept that your organization has that is made up of different systems. You may have a manufacturing part of your business, a consumerization part of your business, a testing part of your business, but they represent a single product or single group of products. And search allows, provides a way, especially if we're looking within the 2010 platform, if we're looking at FAST, for instance, you can really start to you can start building relationships between those through your pipeline and also through what you look at in your results. You can apply different relevancy to those things and target users in a very specific and thought out way. So the other thing is if you've built some customizations and built really specific things to kind of get around some of the limitations in 2007, those are things that you can probably, there's a good chance that you can retire some of that if you're moving over to 2010 because it may come along for the ride. It may be part of your 2010 out-of-the-box feature set. The second profile was a large, kind of a large and complex organizational profile. So these are, there's some similarities with the first one, but these are organizations that may just have a huge amount of content. It may only come from one source, it may only come from two sources, but there's a huge need to index a huge amount of content. And they may have a very complex rollout, implementation of search or their 2000, even just portal. So maybe they're globally distributed. They have search applications that are stood up to speak to a specific department because the usage of that department is very specific and they demand kind of their own almost sandboxed environment of search or their own experience of search. So these are areas where the 2010 platform is leveraged by Search First so that they can actually have a little bit richer experience. There's a little bit more granularity to support some of these complex topologies. Certainly, again, if you're talking about fast, it's designed for extreme scale. It's designed to scale out and up in such a way that you can meet huge, huge demand in terms of content. So again, a large organization can benefit from this and not have to wait even in those large organizations. Again, your migration is probably going to take a good deal of time. So this is an area where you can take advantage of that search services platform and actually put up a search farm and start to let your users actually take advantage of that within their current 2007 environment. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Natalya, who's going to take that organizational, the second one, which is the complex large deployment, and actually give you guys a walkthrough to see how you can actually target this, again, so that you can focus on, I just want to roll this out to one area. I don't want it to touch everything else because I'm concerned. We're a big company. We don't have, we have to be careful about how we actually roll this out. So she's going to show you how that actually works and how this is actually targeted. And in fact, the footprint is small, and you can control who actually gets the experience and when. So I'll hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Harry. So let's go back to fun, because this is actually how this is a background, a little bit of background on the next demo that I will be showing to you. This is a real-life scenario. And in this scenario, that's the scenario I'm going to be covering in my next demo. So here we have large customer, large Morse farm with several web applications, team sites, my sites, intranet apps. And For the search first migration, again, you don't have to take just a wide brush approach and, okay, if we're going with the search first, the whole farm has to go search first. No, not necessarily. In this case, we identified the intranet application as, for example, as the search first candidate. The search first candidates can be as small, granular as just a site collection, or even just as granular as a page, but you will have to, yeah, you don't even have to do it manually. We have redirection tools, right? So let's take a look at the intranet app. So we are deploying the search first, where before the search first, all the site collections in this web app were talking to 2007 Search Center. Now, all the search queries, they get redirected. So then the next step, okay, so at this point, we have search first. That's it. The next logical step is that we, at this point, ready to start migrating the content. So we identified, again, we don't have to take the wide brush approach. We identified the research site collection as the candidate for migration, immediate migration to 2010, and voila, we migrated. So at this point, and that's going to be the focal point of the next demo. At this point, I will show to you what type of experience your users will expect when they are, half of them still working in 2007, half of them already migrated to 2010, 2007, search first, etc. So I will show to you what type of experience they will have when the content is already partially migrated to 2010. So let's switch. Sorry, I apologize. That might be better. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so I'm switching to my demo machine. I'll probably hold it like that. Okay, right now I'm logged into 2007 environment as administrator account. So this demo is going to be split in 3 sections. In the first section, I'm going to perform search first migration in 2007 environment. The next section, I will show to you how I enable people search in 2010 by migrating user profiles from 2007 into 2010. And I will finish the whole and because since those steps will conclude my search first redirection, I will show to you this intermediate experience when half of the content is migrated to 2010 and users still, and users kind of live in this mixed mode. So what type of experience they can expect and how they search 2010 can incentivize them to become a candidate for migration. So I'm logged into this environment as administrator, and you're seeing a familiar PowerShell window that has Natalya's commandlets already preloaded in it. So I'm going to run a command that will use Natalya's commandlets. It's a huge one. Do you want me to explain each parameter to you? Well, you should stop by Natalya's booth because our team is going to be there tomorrow, so you can ask all the questions. But in a nutshell, what this command is going to do, it will iterate through all the site collections, through all the web applications, all the site collections, and export all the current farm-wide, site collections-wide search settings into a file. It will also add specific directives to this file that will be used further on to apply the search first redirection. So I'm running this command. It's going to take a little bit to run it, but you will see the progress, the really nice progress right on the screen. And as you will see that, as you can see up here, right at the end, well, of course, as soon as I showed to you, it disappeared. The last parameter in this command was to output everything into site exports XML. So you can see that it's right now awesome. It's really, enumerating. It's going through all my sites. It's creating this sites export XML. That the next step I will review. As I mentioned to you, we don't have to take this wide approach because the next command will take exactly what is in this XML. Right. Awesome, right? And listen, you guys like it because Harry's been kicking and screaming to get PowerShell commands of the PowerPoint presentation. I was like, please. He's like, it's 100. I'm like, please. Okay, so let's take a look at what we can do here. As I mentioned to you, only our intranet is ready for redirection. So what I'm going to do, I'm removing the entries that are specific to, for example, my site. And when I scroll down, I'm going to remove also entries that are specific to central administration sites, because only sites that are left in this XML are going to be subject for redirection. And by the way, documentation, again, documentation is there for all those commands, so you can use it. So right now, that file only contains the sites that I want to apply search first redirection to. So I'm saving that file. I'm closing out of it. And not to bore you with my mistypings, did I mention English is not my first language? I prepared, of course, the file with all the commands that I'm going to be using. So the next command is going to take my sites export XML file and apply the search first redirection directives to that. The other cool thing is that since I have this XML file, if I see that something is wrong with my search first redirection, I can use that file and Metalogic's redirection tool to roll back all the changes, because all the old settings are in this file. So voila. Right now, the site collections that I had in this XML file are already redirected. So the next thing, the next thing for me to do in 2007, which is, I repeat, optional, is to apply Metalogic's replacement control, which will provide scopes configuration, query suggestions, but it's optional. It depends. It's up to you. I would love to run those commands. I wanted to run, believe me, but we already have Metalogic's replacement control deployed here. So there are 4 features. If you stop by after the session, I'll be more than happy to explain you all the features and at which level that they're deployed and activated. Okay, so I'm sorry, I got out of it. Okay, so at this point, my 2007 environment is completely search first ready. So the next thing that I will show to you, I'm going to log into my 2010 environment as administrator again, and I will run the user profile replication engine in order to get all my user profiles and their properties and their values, of course, from 2007 into 2010. So I opened up replication engine, and again, I repeat, this is free download. It's part of SharePoint admin toolkit. I paste the command. It's very simple command, by the way. Don't be alarmed. All I'm telling, no, seriously, all I'm just telling it. Hold on, it's actually wrong command, I think. Yeah, it's search first redirection command. Yeah, you see, I can't even copy. My God, I'm so happy that I prepared those text files. Yes, that's the right command. Okay, so I copy my command, and all it says, it actually provides to the replication engine the, It provides to the replication engine the source, which is the URL for my, if you look, for my most 2007 my sites, and it provides the destination URLs, and right here it says start full replication. It's gonna take probably a minute or 2 to finish this command, but meanwhile I can tell you that this tool is very useful, and specifically, okay, right now initially, yes, we do need to do full replication, but again, you can schedule this tool to run, for example, nightly, to provide you with all the incremental profile replication, because that will ensure that all your people search results are accurate as people are updating their profiles. Yes? Oh, okay, so here's the thing, yeah. Probably the reason why I'm saying synchronizing is it's actually, you're right, it's not the right term. all I'm doing is I'm replicating. So my authoritative source for user profile information is 2007. I misspoke. It's 2007, and it's one-way sync. Yes, absolutely, but think about it this way. I'm Natalya Voskresenskaya. I go to my 2007 profile, guess what? Because now my last name is Smith, and I want to update my last name in 2007 profile. You see, in 2010, it'd still be Voskresenskaya, and no one's going to be no one's going to be able to find me, because I don't think there is really like nickname matching or phonetic name matching for that. Then go directly against AD, right? Then go directly against it. I would, if you don't let them update and you don't supplement their profile information with other, for example, HR database information, then definitely. So you see at this point, my user profiles all done. So voila, I just deployed Search first in my lab environment, which is pretty cool. And you see how easy it was really quickly, and I just configured my 2007 and finished configuration of my 2010. So as the last step, I promised you that I will show you what type of a mixed search experience your people would be getting when the information is coming from, for example, from two different sources, right? So for that, I'm going to go to the Search Center. And I will go to, I will actually perform a query, specific query that I know is going to match to my documents in 2010 environment as well as 2007. And you will clearly see the difference. So I'm typing in datum or datum corporation, doesn't really matter. As long as I have query suggestions, I don't really have to type the whole query. I can just pick and choose. So you will see how distinguishable the difference is right from the search results. And that distinguishable difference will incentivize your business departments and users to become candidates for migration of content. So what you're looking at here is the page that we've seen before, but take a look at that. It has changed a little bit, right? And see, all that, those are PowerPoint presentations that I actually previously migrated from 2007, but you see they're all coming from 2010 environment. And you see that my search results are coming from two different environments. So what's going to happen when I click on most sites? Word documents, PowerPoint presentation, I'm not really seeing anything. If I go back and see the results coming from 2010, you see those PowerPoint previews, presentation, and those are actually thumbnails from my Word documents. What can I do from here? From here, without even downloading the PowerPoint presentation, I can page through slides in order to determine if this is the presentation I'm looking for. And I can also open it up in browser if I think that it's useful. And with the help of Office web apps, I can edit the presentation and I can do many other things with the content that's already in 2010. So also, in Search 2010, people can take advantage of such features as social tagging, and the list really goes on. And with this, I would like to turn it back to Harry. You see, if I pre-migrated it, yes. That's why I was talking so quickly through. I was hoping you're not going to notice what happened.
Yeah, the original version of that demo had the actual migration, but because as I was about to say that we're starting to run short on time, it took so long to do it that we were like, let's skip that, and so sorry about that. That part is more of a known. That's kind of a for opening up the documents in the actual Silverlight.
Right. So first of all, the main requirement, as you probably got from the context, is so those documents have to reside in 2010. So this is the main, and then I think it's pretty broad requirements, like you need .NET, blah 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 version, you need etc. etc.
You do also need Office Web Apps.
Yes, and that's the main thing. And no, license key for them. I have the download. I can give it to you. Oh well, you're lucky. I wish everyone was like that.
Is there another question?
And editing, yeah. Sorry.
When you replace the control on the existing site, what happens to newly created sites?
So,
Do I get the new controls, or do I need to replace them as second?
right, so the replacement control actually, it extends the search box that you're seeing in the right top corner, which is part of the master page. And also, the replacement control deployment also installs a search replacement control search box web part. So when you create a new, for example, new search center, by default, your queries are redirected. But because it's out-of-the-box search, it's not going to provide you all the cool features. What you can do, you can just replace that box with the with the replacement control, and voila.
So the search box is in the upper right-hand corner of all SharePoint sites.
If you activate the replacement control feature on that site collection, that will show scopes drop-down and query completion.
And then when I create a new team site the next day,
Within the same site collection?
no, a new site collection.
Perfect. Activate the feature, and it will take it.
You would need to take the step to do that. So there are a couple different ways that you could approach that. One would be to create a new definition for that. And in terms of like replacing that search box, that wouldn't be, that's a pretty standard process, it's pretty well documented. So if you really wanted, if that was a real requirement, you see a lot of site collections being produced over the next, however long that gap is, where you still have your 2007 environment up, you could modify that definition for that site. There are a few different ways that you could approach that, but no, it wouldn't it doesn't automatically update that definition. Right. Then that would be a great reason to actually update the definition. You could create a new definition and let that be the new way you create sites or site collections. That would be the right way to do it, especially if you're building that many. That would be the way you'd want to approach it. I saw another hand up somewhere on the right. No? Okay. So as I was saying, so it's almost over. Hopefully you guys have a good understanding of what we actually showed and how this actually, what the pieces are that are involved, how much effort it actually would take to deploy this. A lot of the effort really is in the planning of it and thought process of it. Which is something you're going to have to do when you're looking at an upgrade or migration anyway. So purely from the search first experience part of it, it's actually fairly quick to actually roll out. It's something that we've done for a few organizations. Again, if it's a large organization, we'd recommend a POC depending on exactly what you're actually deploying. If it's very, very large, and that's really more to kind of that's more of a proof against making sure that your 2010 environment itself is actually has the right resources and is put together in the right way so that it gives you the experience that you want your users to have. So I don't know if there are any other questions. Like I said, I saw a few other hands, but if there are questions, I invite them now. Also, if there's a lot that Natalya showed, and she really gets excited when she talks about.
And I'm happy to show it to you again tomorrow,
so
or the day after tomorrow.
If there are like specific things about the commandlets that she ran, or again specific questions as to how what the scope, what the options are in running some of this, and how it can be pulled apart, and all those things, definitely find her. You can obviously we're going to be here for a little bit after this. But again, we'll be at the Metalogix booth to kind of help with questions there as well. But the one thing I want to stress, actually two things. One is I wanted to thank our friend and also fellow MVP, Kamwal Whipple, because he actually helped us with the branding for this. It's one element that we didn't actually point out. But the kind of last element is that you want to kind of give your users that similar experience. So the branding on that was actually branded against 2010 environment as well as 2007 to give that kind of seamless user experience. And the second thing I wanted to say was just to stress again that the tools are free. They're out there. The information is out there. It's on TechNet. People are downloading this and using this in their environments now. So don't think that it's something that you have to, that there's a bar that you have to get into just to actually pull this stuff out. It's available for download, and you guys are free to use it and test against it and everything. And again, we're here to help support you guys. If you guys have any questions, just come and ask us. Natalya really likes talking about it. So, all right. So thank you guys for coming out and attending. Thank you.
Don't forget to fill out evaluations if you need to.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. Right.